In the heart of the state-of-the-art, at the dawn of the next stage in entertainment, you found No Proscenium.
You have indeed found No Proscenium, the voice of everything immersive. I'm your host, Noah Nelson, and welcome to episode 374. This week on the show, we talk with Maya Carter, Vice President of the Board of the Black Immersive Creators Grant, and Grant Support Team member Kendra Slack of Linked Dance Theater about the 2023 cycle of this incredible community-driven grant for Black immersive creators at any stage in their career. The fundraising cycle is open right now, with the applications coming a little later this season. You can check for links in the show notes already. We'll get down to all the details in a bit during the interview, but speaking of community-driven, No Proscenium couldn't exist without ours, specifically our backers at Patreon, where we are currently just 17 backers away from the 400 backer milestone and about $400 a month away from the $3,000 a month rate, which would, well, that would take my salary from that of a full-time Target employee to that of a full-time In-N-Out employee. And they get benefits. So if you can, please help me keep off the fry line by going to patreon.com/noproscenium and keep this machine rolling. If you're already a backer, drop a review on iTunes or your podcatcher of choice and share the podcasts and articles you find useful on your social media platform of choice. We are always No Proscenium out there, except on Insta, where we are No_Proscenium. We're also on the lookout for community partners who are up for working out special deals for our backers. Hit me up at noah@noproscenium.com for details. And now, without further ado, we get into this week's interview. Last January, we told you all about the Black Immersive Creators Grant, which gives direct support to a Black maker who is launching original immersive work with a grant fund target of $10,000. Joining us now is Maya Carter, Vice President of the Board of the Black Immersive Creators Grant. Hello, Maya.
Hello! It's so lovely to be here.
And Grant Support Team member Kendra Slack.
Hello, good to be here as well.
So when we had Dana Magar and Risa Puno on in January of 2022, the grant was just launching and was open to makers. How did the 2022 cycle play out? Maya?
I feel like the 2022 cycle was we did award the grant, so a successful beginning. We had a number of applicants from across the country, and I feel like in all of the meetings, sort of behind the scenes, there was a real sense of urgency, of this propulsive energy, this real want to be of assistance and help make creating accessible, especially after the beginning and, middling of the sort of shut inside quarantining period of the pandemic that we are still in today. So I remember feeling incredibly inspired by all of the members of the board and their projects and the ways in which they felt drawn to working to get the grant off the ground. And once we started getting applications in and we got to be able to adjudicate them, there is just so much here. And there are so many incredible makers working and doing and believing. And that was a really cool thing to see.
Kendra, for you, what was your experience of the 2022 cycle?
Yeah, I think we learned so much. Noah, how hard it is to start an organization and to get it off the ground. And yeah, I think it really took the dedication of everyone involved to make it happen. But we certainly learned what worked and what didn't work well. And I think in the second year, we're really trying to learn from the things that didn't work as well, and we're trying to make them better for this year, which kind of prompted us to abandon the artisan platform that we started on, and become our own fiscally sponsored nonprofit organization, which is really exciting.
Well, I think we'll take a moment to get into the standalone nature for a second, but I want to stay on 2022 for one more moment because, as you mentioned, you did successfully award the grant, which is, I mean, that's a big deal in and of itself. Who got it, and what's the status of the project?
So the grant was awarded to a creator named Salimatu Amabebe, and his piece was a piece called Black Immersive, and it was part of a larger series that was created called Black Feast that combines food and art. This particular outing was an immersive dinner dance experience on a farm in Portland, Oregon.
All right. What is on tap for 2023? I guess we could start with new platform, a nonprofit of your own. That's a massive lift right there.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, but I think it was. We learned so much in the process of doing that, and though it's a lot of upfront work, a lot of hours put in to make that happen, I think it's really going to help the longevity of the organization, which is, I think, what we all want. We don't want this to be a one and done kind of thing. We want it to be something that can become a part of the immersive community and,
Absolutely.
yeah, hopefully affect change within it, because we're still such a young industry. We want to, start trying to put the processes and the things in place that we would want to see in our community. And I think because we're still figuring it all out, it's a very good time to do that.
Are you all sticking with the one big prize for this cycle? The 10,000 is going to go to one project, or is there any changes to the shape of what the grant looks like from the point of view of makers?
No, no change for this year. There have been some rumblings of discussions of potentially evolving that in the future, and maybe I'll let Maya speak to that. But yes, this coming cycle will be another $10,000 award.
Yeah. In terms of future shifts to structure potential, um, I think that we as a board and an organization are really interested in these first 2 years being about really just establishing what it is that the grant is here to do and assist with in a rather repeatable way. And then truly, I mean, truly, who knows? I, I feel, speaking for myself, that a lot of things could change and shift depending on the needs of community. And I think that something that we are all interested in on the board and on the sort of, behind the curtain side of things is making sure that we can receive feedback and really be available to the shifting needs of community, and pivot and adjust if need be.
What's the so mm, so what's the cycle look like for 2023 then? Where are you at the moment in terms of funding or fundraising or um, looking for projects, looking for potential winners of the grant?
Yeah, well, so we're back in the fundraising phase.
Yes,
That
please,
that
please.
fun phase. Um, we're about halfway through our fundraising phase and about halfway to our goal, actually, which is really exciting. Um, we're soliciting the donations from the community because we feel like it is important for the immersive community to be a part of making this happen. And so we would really appreciate anybody's support. We're fundraising through the end of February, and then we are hoping to open applications at the end of February, and then folks will have about a month to apply. So probably applications closing around the 1st of April.
Just almost at the top of March and through April, and then we're recording this on January 9th, and sounds like that, obviously keep raising money until you've hit the 10,000, raising money perpetually for forever and ever, because that's the nature of nonprofit.
Yeah.
Never not fundraising. Um,
Absolutely.
so are you so you mentioned you're looking for the community. I mean, are you looking mostly, is this the vision here, a lot of small dollar donations adding up to one big? Is there some looking at institutional funders, like 10K? It's so funny, 10K is a huge amount of money from one sector point of view, and it's pocket change from other parts of our universe,
Hmm.
even the immersive universe, when all is said and done. So what's the strategies on trying to supercharge this?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going at it from both a yes and sort
Hmm.
of mentality. We would love some larger institutional donations. We have been seeking those out. Perhaps they will also come with time as the grant establishes itself a little bit more.
Hmm.
The first year was totally funded by smaller donations by folks, largely through the great work of Risa. Um, and this year we've kind of had a little mixture of both starting. We're still seeing those smaller individual grants, or sorry, individual donations. But we're also starting to see some larger donations from organizations, which is really great. And smaller donations can add up to larger donations. If you're in a company and, everybody puts in $25, that's could be a $200 donation from a certain immersive company that wants to help support this grant. So
Hmm.
I'm really hoping that that is kind of what will begin to happen, is that the companies we see and hear about and know and love will uh, really, really take this to heart and embrace it as something that can really help, I think, the health and the diversity of our wonderful community. And hopefully it's something that the community really embraces and just it kind of takes on as their own. That would be my dream.
I echo that dream, Kendra, 100%. And I think that so many of those smaller donations are deeply possible because we've got, members of the board from all facets of immersive creation. And so everybody has their own network and is, able to and willing to sort of, plumb those depths to an extent and really sort of just reach their hand back and see what comes of it. And I think that that's a really beautiful thing to see and to be a part of.
Yeah. And I know I personally, as a creator, I'm only able to do this because I'm not a wealthy person, but I make enough
Hmm.
that I am able to put my own money into my art, and so many people do not have the ability to do that. I have a lot of privilege in that way, and I recognize that is how I have been able to do my art, and I
Hmm.
want that for other folks.
Once the grant is open for creators, for applications, what are some of the parameters? Who should be reaching out and trying to get these funds? Like, are there limitations on what stage a project is in, or anything else that folks should be aware of, not just for themselves, but also as they're thinking of people they know who might be, thinking about creating immersive, but haven't dipped in. So is this for folks who might be their first thing, or is this for folks who are kind of more established? I'm would love to know.
In the first application year of the grant, we received a wide range of the, I guess, I don't know, experience demographic, which I think was really, really wonderful. And something that we've been working on is making our sort of application parameters and guidelines clearer, especially now that we're building our own, online infrastructure to support the application process. First and foremost, applicants need to be able to self-identify as a Black creator in the immersive space. There is not an age restriction. I'm buffering internally.
Aren't we all
but
buffering?
very the we are. While my brain does this sort of spinning wheel of rainbow colors, Kendra, can
Yeah.
you maybe pick up some of my slack?
Oh, of course. Well, that's why my last name is what it is. Yeah, no, there's no age restriction. There's really no restriction on where a creator is in their career. They could have made multiple immersive projects before. They could have never made an immersive project before. This could be their first foray into it. It just requires a desire to create immersive work. And like Maya mentioned, we got so many applications the first year that it was an amazing response, over 200 applications. But we did find, and this might have been a product of the artisan platform, but we did find that some of them were not quite in the immersive realm. So, I mean, as many of the listeners know, defining immersive is very tricky. But we've tried to at least give some guidelines, some examples of what could be thought of as immersive, and give folks a bit of a sense, bit of a roadmap of sort of where the board's heads are at and where the selection committee's heads will be at. We're trying to be very, very upfront about what the board is looking for and what they will be judging the applications on, because we want folks to succeed.
How many people are involved on the board side? I realize I don't have a sense of just how many people are going to be looking at all of these projects.
Yeah, well, I think there's seven board members, but the selection committee is, hopefully, it was last year, it was larger, and we're hoping to include more voices this year as well. So yeah, so a small
but small
but mighty
contingent. Where
Well, I mean, seven's is a good number for a board and for a selection committee. Like, on the enough points of view, and also like tight enough that the deliberations aren't going to go just in circles and circles and circles forever. So like, it's a good number. It's a good number.
Yeah, well, and I will say, having watched, or being the one sort of watching all the board meetings and taking the notes, this particular group of folks and creators, they work really well together and have just so many wonderful ideas, and I think are able to also, like Maya was saying, really take to heart what seems to be working well, and they always are trying to make things better. At least that's my view from the outside, and it's really, really amazing to watch them discuss and work on this.
Maya, you mentioned that you got
Yeah.
involved in 2021. I'm wondering how did you get involved with this particular grant?
So I have been a collaborator with Linked Dance Theater, um, found, founded by the wonderful Kendra Slack and uh, Jordan Shalfaka, and I was working on a piece of theater with Linked called El Sanvoir. And after that, am I right? This is the correct timeline.
I
No,
I
is
I
it?
think it
No, no,
is.
no. It was
Is
before.
it?
Yes, yes. Okay. Yes, yes, it is.
Or
Because
was it like real people do?
no, it was like real people do because the beginning of the board and El Sanval were happening at the same time.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Wow. Okay. Time is a flat circle, and it just continues to grow and shrink all the time. But so Jordan and Kendra approached me about potentially being involved, and later that sort of solidified to being on the board of the grant, which I hadn't been on a board before, but in my work, both inside and outside of theater space, just in art space, I do a lot of community engagement work, and I've fundraised in a small way for just the camps and things that you try to go to growing up when the resources aren't there, but you want to be able to learn how to make something new. And I was really excited to be able to participate in giving some money away because I too do not come from a background that is resourced from birth, right? A lot of I know that I am where I am today because of community, because of, asking folks from the church I grew up in, or my neighbors down the street, or my principal's sister who saw me sing or dance in a play to help. And I I jumped very cautiously at the chance because I wanted to make sure that I didn't mess it up. We love a recovering perfectionist, but the wonderful thing about working with other people is that there are other people there, and everyone on the board really, I think, we grew to do our like load sharing of responsibilities in a really nice way. And I think that folks have been able to sort of pick up where other people have left off and continue to kind of build the boat together.
Kendra, how about you? How did you? Well, oh, I guess what's your role in all this?
Yeah, well, I'm a support team member. We have a small group of us who are on the support team, and basically our goal is to take the burden of a lot of the administrative work off of the board members. So I do a lot of the admin stuff, a lot of scheduling, a lot of trying to get everybody together and agree on a time to talk, and take the meeting minutes when.
And you're so
Um,
good at it.
well, I mean, from all my time hurting actors who, have as good a direction sense as cats, I will say. I think
Well, yep.
yes, yeah, um, definitely pays off. I do know my way around a schedule, and I'm glad that I can use it for something that I really. I really believe in. I really believe in this grant, and I think everybody who's a part of it has, I mean, they've given of their time so generously, and it's been amazing to watch and just to be a small part of, really.
You've got the next cycle coming up. It's fundraising right now, hoping to hit you're halfway. It's about 5,000 into the 10,000, and then it's going to be opening up for creators. What's the aspirational goal here now that you're forming up as a nonprofit? I want to have you project too far or overshoot what what it is you're hoping to talk about in public, but what's some of the dream goals here for what you could do, or I guess what would you like to see? You know what, I'm gonna rephrase this question entirely. I'm gonna retake this one. So you're in the middle of the fundraising cycle right now. You've got 5,000 of the 10,000, and then not too long after that, the grant's going to open up. What would you like to see the impact of this year's grant be?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Maya, do you have any thoughts?
It's interesting because I think without for me, without having like received all of the applications and gotten a chance to look at them, sometimes it's not hard to think about impact scale, but a little nebulous because I feel like whomever is awarded the grant, their own ideas about what impact they want to have with their project, I feel like would like let's say if we'd already awarded the grant, that would directly influence my answer right now. But I will say I am excited for the community to see new art brought to, a further stage of development. Um, I think that when, especially when the grant itself it has it is coming from a place that isn't super restrictive in terms of what you can and cannot do with the funds once one receives them, that really opens up a wide variety of possibility for what an awardee could do. An awardee could pay their rent so that they can focus on writing the thing, or take the money and go on a research trip, or buy a technical element that they feel like their work's been needing that they just haven't been able to put their hands on to sort of create something new. And I think I don't know, I feel like my big dreams for impact are just that they are immediate and like very tangible to the person who is awarded it, but also that the community does begin to see the ripple effect of this thing, and really, really continue to come together to help with the longevity of this grant.
I think that's a really good point. Like the idea that the community getting to see the impact that they have, getting to see that, whether it's a big single donation or it's lots of small dollar donations, having an impact, moving a creator along, connecting, building an audience for someone, making a piece of work be all that it could be, and the word kind of spreading from there, and just building that momentum, and giving the community confidence that the community can help make real change in the long term. That's an exciting prospect, and it's definitely what I'm hoping to get to see in the cycle for 23 from where I'm sitting. Well,
Yes,
for
please, all those things.
yeah, for those who want to be part of the fundraising part, or who think they themselves or someone they know might be good for the grant, where should people go in order to connect with the organization?
Well, we have our own fancy new website, www.blackimmersivecreatorsgrant.com. People can donate there. We have a direct donation page, so you don't even have to leave our website to donate. All of the donations are tax deductible. And then once the applications open, probably late February, folks can just go to our website directly, and they'll be linked to the application there. So easy peasy.
Yep. No sweat. Just come on over.
Fantastic. All right. Well, Maya, Kendra, thank you both so much for spending part of your evening with me tonight. And I look forward to hearing about the success of the 2023 cycle of the grant.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Once again, I want to thank Maya and Kendra for being our guests on the show. You can indeed find more about the grant and currently donate and in not too long apply for the Black Immersive Creators Grant at blackimmersivecreatorsgrant.com. Simple as that. That's pretty much all we've got going on this week. Here on the pod, we have had some reviews. There's a feature-length review of a weekend getaway event in the British countryside that Ellery did for us. There is a review rundown. The call sheet's been updated again, and you're getting a newsletter this weekend. So we're cranking away. I think there may not be enough for a rundown next week, but I could be wrong. I can't remember at this very moment. I'm recording this on Thursday evening. I know we have at least one capsule review in the can already, but we do like to have a few of those out to make sure that they're all bundled up together. Maybe we'll drop an update to this week's rundown. That might be what we wind up doing if need be. There's been a bunch of news this week. Normally we used to do the news at the top of the show. I think it's going to wind up back here at the back end of the show to give me something to talk about a bit. So you might not have seen it. I'll put it in the show notes. Universal has announced that they're opening 2 new attractions. We'll call attractions. There's going to be a family-friendly resort in Texas. I don't have all the details on that one. And there's going to be a year-round Horror Nights attraction at Area 15 in Las Vegas. The Area 15 folks are very excited about this. And it's going to be sort of in a new expansion, kind of close to where Omega Mart is, of course, close to where Lost Spirits Distillery is, and catering to the horror fans, of which there are a lot here in LA, a lot in Vegas. It feels like a really smart move to me from everybody's part. It's just a wonderful idea that I know should do pretty good. Going to be interesting when they open it. I don't have the plans in front of me at the moment because I've been running around dealing with some family stuff. So I've been able to absorb the headlines, but haven't sat down with the news yet. But this one is one that we're really going to be watching very closely, not just because of that we're fans of this stuff, but because of the way this sort of signals where the overall market, the industry is going, the opportunities for creators, the strength of the market in terms of, where people are going and being drawn to. And, the fact that Universal, which already has 2 major theme parks here in the United States, is opening up some out of their normal zone material. We're in this place where there's a lot of experimentation because you have Meow Wolf, with their 3 units. You've got 2-Bit Circus that's growing their footprint, and now Universal, who's is a big. It's the biggest big that isn't the biggest big, right? You see what I did there? I hope you saw what I did there. Disney. I was talking about Disney. So this, you can view it through the lens of, well, this is themed entertainment. This is theme parks. We've seen this kind of cycle before. Go back, look at Disney Quest, see how that was very innovative but didn't last. You can look at sort of the GameWorks stuff that's happened in the past. You can look at Dave & Buster's. There's a lot of ways to sort of view this through, of the amusement industry, the themed entertainment industry, of which are, the cousins and the forebears of immersive. What's going to be interesting is what is going into this Horror Night setup. Is it just going to be mazes? Are there going to be other elements? We know Universal's just opened up some escape rooms. This is innovation at the corporate level for this work. Does it mean that we're going to see more indie work, which of course, is where our heart of hearts lies? Not necessarily, right? One does not follow on the other, but I firmly believe that as we grow the market for folks who can self-identify as fans of immersive and experiential work, even if they don't call it immersive and experiential work, they may just say, I like going to one of those game theater pieces. I like going to a haunted maze. I like when the actors talk to me and my choices matter. If they can, I did it with like a surly 20-something-year-old's voice. Don't know why I did that way, but maybe because I'm a surly 20-something at heart. But the more folks go to this kind of work, the more opportunities there are going to be for this kind of work. And frankly, in a universe where the only thing that's drawing people out to the movies are Avatar, because it's a technical spectacle that you can't really watch at home, and Marvel movies, which you don't want to be spoiled on, right? You don't want someone telling you what happened. Specifically, you don't want someone telling you what the trailer at the end of the Marvel movie was. What was the end credits, right? That's what everyone wants. So because that is all that's kind of going on there at the moment, immersive has an opportunity. And when we look at the fact that, the demand didn't go away, I'm feeling pretty good about this one. I can't wait to sit down and really dig into this stuff. Normally, I'd have something even more cogent to say. You might be like, oh, Noah's lost a step. It's like, oh man, if you saw what I was doing this week, you'd be shocked that I even knew anything was going on whatsoever. So how do I keep up with the news? It's called being a Twitter addict. So, which I still am, unfortunately. That's a whole nother thing. Anyway, if you still stuck around this far into it, thank you so much. We've got more coming. Our next episode's already in the can. We're going to take you to Sugarland, Texas, and the Department of Wonder. Had a fantastic interview with a couple of the lead creatives over there, folks on the creative team. Very excited about what's happening there. Just a wonderful conversation about storytelling, about how they've approached this thing. Look it up. Look up Department of Wonder, Sugarland, Texas. Whet your appetite for that. And then come back here next week and let's have a grand old time. One last thing before we go. It may have been sounding like I was making light of it, the whole Target In-N-Out thing. But I look when they're hiring, man. So you want to keep me around? Patreon.com/NoProscenium. Let's get that going up so that I don't have to go grab a day job and maybe disappear for all time, because clock is ticking. It's January 12th. I got 2 months to make this work. So 3 months, 2.5 months to make this work. So let's get down to it. All right. Here are the people who do help me get down to it. The folks who are the backbone of what we're doing here. That's our sustaining backers: Samuel Mustry, Chris Woolman, Samantha Davison, Eric Shamlin, Elaine, Jay Bushman, Jerome Joseph Gentes, Tom Leonetti McGuire, Wynn Thorne, Ryan, David Bassick, Richard Ayers, Lonnie Hanson, the Ministry of Peculiarities, and Jan Budman. Thank you all for helping me hold it down. The associate producer of this podcast is Parker Sella. Music for No Proscenium is by Chris Porter of the Speakeasy Society and Solar the Podcast. Special thanks to Siobhan O'Loughlin for voicing our intro. And everything you just heard is my fault. I'm Noah Nelson, and until next time, I'll see you at the show.